forms. It can be solid or it can be fluid. Life flows with impermanence. Nothing ever remains the same because all things are subject to change. Life is a path with a lot of twists and turns. It is a trip from A to Z. Reality is somewhat of a maze. Life is a journey and a quest in which we must question our surroundings and question all who cross our path. What you come to know defines who you are and defines your life. Many of us know hard times. Many of us know what it feels like to be on top. And many of us know what it feels like to hit rock bottom. To know means to have first-hand knowledge of the facts. To know means to be certain and sure of, while the unknown is that which is unsure and uncertain. Knowledge reinforces confidence, while not knowing reinforces doubt. The minus sign is the symbol of deductive reasoning. Through the process of elimination, many things are resolved. Through the process of elimination, life filters out the
I'll be right back, family.
And distinguishes them from the multitudes of the collective. The freedom fighter and the noble sage are the rarities that fate produces to bring about a universal change. They are the black sheep and the renegade who campaign day and night on the front line, striving to overthrow the rule of the wicked. Today, the war between good and evil is a war of the mind. The righteous are losing this war as they have lost the minds of the people. The mind is molded according to the square of perception. There are four sides to the square of perception. The square of perception is a combination of one's own self, family, society, and media. We all have our own individual thoughts, but the input of family and society also play a part in our judgment. Media, such as books, TV, etc., also play a part in our judgment and our perception. The resurrection of the mind has begun. The spiritual language of the ancients has now resurfaced, and it is being spoken with such grace. Man has turned a new leaf in the chronicles of time. The book of life has once again been opened to those who seek its divine guidance. Angelic beings manifested in human flesh have arrived on the terrestrial plane to teach the Holy Scripture, giving each soul its proper measurement of heavenly mental food. This heavenly mental food for thought has freed those who have been held captive to the bondage, slavery, injustice, and falsehood. The angel of peace yells on the mountaintop, "Do away with your idols and your manufactured religion." The angel of peace says, "My people, come to your senses and pray toward the holiest inward direction. There you will find that from which you came, the foundation of the soul, the essence of life, the one and only God who dwells in the holiest temple, the one and only God who is defined by guidelines, objectives, and directives. Many have strayed from the path of right. Many cannot see because they have lost all insight. They are misinformed and miseducated. They are easily manipulated, captivated by deception, haterism, traitorism, trickery, and treachery have the people divided. The people feed on poison and refuse to become enlightened. They are rotten to the core. They adore that which sparkles and glitters. They worship the 666. The 666 is the coin system, the caste system, and the class system. They are doomed to fail. They long for idols instead of that which is real.
That's tight.
Ignorance is a curse, and to break the curse of ignorance, you need a spell. You must spell the holy words that reveal the truth. The truth can kill and the truth can heal. The will of the universe will be fulfilled, regardless of how people may feel. And feeling is a sense, and we have lost the true sense of self. Peace.
Alright. Cool. All right. Let's see. That was terrible. All right. Let me open the show. My name is Seduction Doll.
Good morning, Revolution.
Good morning, Revolution. Right. Grand Rising. Let me open the show real quick. Calm down. Myself, Seduction Doll, aka Brandy Majors, co-host co-host of or the host of the Revolutionary Agenda, but co-host of Frontline Black News. And also on the phone is my twin, RAHMEL Understanding, which is the co-host of our show, Revolutionary Agenda.
The anchorman.
You're the co-host here. Well, are you sick? Calm down.
Yeah, I'm the anchorman.
I'm the anchorman of what? You're the anchorman on Shabaka's Black Experience. That's Mr. Frontline. See, I've been trying to call him. Do we get our shit together? He's just messing me up. All right. This is frontlinecampaign.org. Mr. Frontline Everything, co-host or anchorman on Frontline Black News and Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. So, and our guest today is Yanga Nkrumah, which we hope is going to be our running co-host with us. Today's topic, well, what I meant to be trying to tell RAHMEL here, but he's been busy, is that today I'm running a 3-part show because I have some stuff, really heavy stuff to talk about. But for this first little hour, which will end, and then we'll pick back up a little later, is about revolutionary relationships and relationships that happen within the revolution or within the revolutionary parties, is what I want to call it, within the movement, within political parties that are based on the movement of our people, the betterment of our people, sometimes on the 10-point creed of the Panthers, the Black Panther movement. Also, I do need to ask a question. Did they change their name again? Is it like, what happened with that? Like the Black Panthers, the new Black Panthers, the Black Panther movement, what is it? Because like over the last month, they changed it. Was it last month or the month before, where it was just Panthers, which is tight too. But I didn't know which way, or is it just for the separate counties, or what are we doing?
It's a whole history to the Panther as a party, as a movement, to what it's morphed into today. I won't go through the whole history, but just to give a brief history, coming after what we call in the People's Black Panther Party, the third development, or what a lot of people call the original Black Panther Party, after their so-called end, the new Black Panther Party came into fruition under Aaron Michaels, David Foreman, and a couple other cats. We know that went through the leadership of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, may Allah have mercy upon Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. We know, and then leadership was then given to Dr. Malik Zulu Shabazz. And after Dr. Malik Zulu Shabazz, some things happened internally, politically. That leadership was then democratically given to Sister Crystal Muhammad. And during that time, during this Malik transference of power with Malik and Sister Crystal Muhammad, is when you have what I call just the whole fraternization, the whole shattering of the new Black Panther Party, and then you got these splinter groups. So Black Panther Party movement, Revolutionary Black Panther Party, People's Black Panther Party, Legendary Black Panther Party, this Black Panther Party, that are just really fragments of a larger Panther movement, but they're different formations.
All right, yeah, because I was curious, because everybody has social media. It seems like check into that in one of the later programs later on today. But everybody has social media, so you see a lot of activity, with most of the parties. Are either posting updates, posting pictures, posting something, right? There's always something. And I predominantly am on Facebook because when I had a Twitter and Instagram account, no, not even an Instagram account, I would say I never even messed with that. That's just something I just, fuck that. I couldn't get behind it. But I had a Twitter account at one point, and it was just a lot. It seemed like a lot of maintenance. So I just stick to Facebook because it's easier, and it was easier for me to just do little live videos about whatever the fuck I wanted to talk about. But lately, as of the last few months, since I have aligned myself with uh, a lot of a lot of different members in different areas that I like. I see the activity. I'm like, whoa, okay. Well, then the name changes, and and then you got the emblems and whatnot, and I'm like, well, this must be a confusing topic for the people that have papers, newspapers. You know what I mean? Because with the newspapers, I want to stay updated. I know if I want to stay updated, I'm in a different state. I'm in a completely different state from everybody else, right? So it's just like the most difficult to get a newspaper from out south, for down south. You know what I mean? For example, shout out to my friend King JX. I see him selling newspaper, right? Newspapers, the Panther newspaper. And I want one really bad, but I don't know how to, like I asked him about it one time, but he's really busy. So, but shout out to my brother right there. I've seen these newspapers and I was like, 32 pages? That's a lot of topics. That's a lot to talk about. You know what I mean? And I was like, wow, because here in Colorado, we don't have that. We don't have it like that. We have, well, I think, we have the 5 point, I'm sorry. Let's welcome Shay and Kruma, host of Frontline Black News, future mayor of Denver, Colorado, 2023, Mr. Jesse LaShawn Paris, also known as Shay and Kruma. Welcome to the Revolutionary Agenda. You're on the phone with RAHMEL, Understanding, and Yanga. So welcome, and we're talking about revolutionary relationships. That's the topic of this hour. Black Power, brother.
Thanks for having me on. To my point, we only have a few papers out here: the Urban Spectrum, the 5 Atlas, and maybe one or two other papers. Like I stated previously, I'm part of an organization called the Universal African Peoples Organization, and we brought the papers that organization had out here. We were selling them for like $1, $2. But it's been about a year or so since we were distributing that paper. So,
Why is that? Why is that?
Basically, it was between Sekou and the brother that was running it. They had a little falling out, so we weren't able to get the papers anymore. Falling out over money. So until
that's perfect. How you lead into this? You're lead into our actual topic. That's perfect. What's the tragedy though? In all listens. That's a tragedy.
Paper I can show you.
Yeah. Could you? That'd be awesome. Thank you for taking the time to do so. Which is perfect, Brother Yanga. That leads us into our topic. Relationships within the movements, the parties. Via it be political or romantic or just even a work relationship can mess up a whole movement. Right, like this. I didn't even know about this, right? I think I seen this newspaper in your house too. Shout out to the Black House. I seen it in your house, but geez, when was the last? What date is that on? What's the date on that?
This is from 2019.
Dang. Okay, see, Black Family, 2021.
Right, in 2019, 2018.
How many pages is that?
20. This one.
20 pages.
This one is about.
Brother Yanga, you and Sister Amina have a newspaper as well, or
yeah. We have a local newsletter, and then we have a magazine. Right now, by us just beginning to go national, the magazine, the newsletter is very much, it's a general newsletter. You can check it online. It has general information. You will find other things in there about Henderson because Henderson produces the newsletter. What we encourage is we give as part of Food for Food, we will give the format to the newsletter.
Turn your background noise down, baby. I'm listening. Go ahead, Brother Yanga.
We will give the format to the newsletter, and you know, contribute maybe articles or some material. But we encourage the local to put what's happening in their local in little newsletters. We do have a magazine. Now that we have you guys aboard, we have Colorado aboard. My design for the magazine are to take it more national and to have contributors from the various cities that are P4P affiliates or branches, or even just people that we really rock with in other cities that may not have come up under the P4P umbrella, and to look for national contribution and insight to our struggle. So yeah, we have a newsletter. We definitely believe, like the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey always propagated and promoted, about how serious you can tell the seriousness of a people by their material. And one of the materials that he said is a newsletter. You can tell the seriousness about a people if they have a newsletter, newspaper, you know, or some type of way to propagate the message.
Yeah. I had thought about that a long time ago when I was reaching out to my brother when I first seen it. It said, I was like, 32 pages. Wow. Hey, like it's a lot of it's a lot of literature, you know what I mean, to read on. And I was like, and I'm a person that likes to read when given. I'm a physical reader though. I can't really do the online reading, but I like reading books with actual pages. I mean, I'm Generation X, so books came in books.
Yeah.
You know?
Some of us are old school.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, this reading online is like bullshit to me. I like blowing it up big, but reading, I like the texture of the paper. You know what I mean? I like to just flip it. Yeah, I'm a speed reader. You know, I'm real old fashioned. Yeah.
But you know the thing about, you know, first of all, too, reading is probably becoming antiquated. I mean, you know, a lot of our people don't read anymore. They're going to the social media. But what I do like about the newspaper, not only just is it a vehicle to propagate the message and put the word out, but it forces us to be socially interactive.
Yep.
And not
and
just
we're
on
there
the
before the news. The newspaper was there before media, before the, you know what I mean? So
exactly.
You can get at people before in a different manner than you can on the news, because the government can shut down the news. You know what I mean? But it's gonna take you a minute to get to the newspaper. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And also, but like I said, you know, it forces social interaction. You know what I'm saying? Not only just immediately when you're selling that newspaper or you interacting with the public, but newspapers require you to build your consumer base. You know, you have to build a market for a newspaper. You have to have the people looking for you. Man, where's that paper at? Where's it? So you have to, not only is it just about selling the newspaper, it's about complete and total social interaction, creating the environment and the climate that wants this information network, that wants to, you know, that wants to get it. Like you got a final call right there, C-Check, right?
Yeah, like the Nation of Islam has a final call, and people be looking for this paper.
And it's affiliate, but I can remember, I can remember when that was the thing to have. Listen, it was so ingrained. I used to buy final calls, even if I didn't read them, just because I knew it was tied to here. Black man, assalamu alaikum, brother. Let me get one of those. Here's $1. That was my contract, because you see what I'm saying? Because they created the culture and environment. We all knew what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was doing. At that time, Dr. Khalid Muhammad was still with the nation. We all knew what he was doing. Why? Because they had made it so part of the culture. It was in the hip hop. It was in the rap videos. It was cool to be. We was rocking the Nefertiti medallions. We was rocking the King. You feel what I'm saying? Even though we was swagged out, we was rocking the cross colors. We was rocking the big kufi crowns. And if you didn't have a kufi crown hat, we cut our hair like the damn kufi crown.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was still, but you got to understand, we're reminiscent. We're talking about us children that were born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s. We were still very much influenced from the Black Panther Party, from the United Slave Organization, from this org. We were still very much influenced by Black Power. So it had it in our music, Public Enemy, KRS-One, King Son, Brand Nubians, and I can go on and on and on.
X-Clan.
X-Clan. So it was right. It was reflected in our movement. So buying a paper was just there was a part of the culture. Yo, black man, let me get one of them. Sometimes you read it, sometimes you didn't. You contributed. What we've allowed is the revolutionary culture to become eroded. We haven't maintained a revolutionary culture to nurture and receive this revolutionary rap we got for the people.
Yeah. And I think I'm hoping we could make that intense here. You know what I mean? Colorado.
Well,
Woo, Colorado, man.
That taking that science to
I was looking at Colorado like
the
last couple of months I've been just looking at Colorado like why?
It's gonna be tough. Colorado is very liberal.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough because Colorado is very liberal.
And we had a whole big clan influence here. It's still like in certain areas, it still has that sundown feeling. They were talking about it on one of the podcasts that me and brother Che listened to at 2:00 in the afternoon. RAHMEL, let's talk about Brother Jeshel. And he said that, I live in Aurora. He said Aurora is like a sundown state. And I'm like, well, the way you heard it, I'm thinking back then, but then I'm thinking, well, no, man, you out late doing, like me, I'm out real late. I'm out like 3 a.m. sometimes cruising my neighborhood. You know what I mean? And I'm
Can I say this too?
Yeah.
Can I say something real quick too? Shouts out to the people, and I believe it was Aurora, that put pressure on the state, put pressure on them pigs that had those pigs convicted of murder. So shouts out to that. Aurora's off the hook.
It's getting there, and it's getting more and more intense right now out here in Aurora. At first when I got here, it's a little hype, but I've gotten used to the situation.
Investigated Aurora and found that they're implicit in all kinds of racial bias against black people in Aurora.
Yeah.
Just stating everything that we've been knowing about Aurora. I mean, it was a sundown town in the prior to 1970. You could get lynched, killed, whatever in Aurora. So now, with all this gentrification going on, a lot of black people are moving to Aurora, and it's become the most diverse, if not one of the most diverse cities in the country. There's like 160 languages that are spoken there, and it's very multicultural. And the police are still, as the police are, racist as ever, and they're targeting us. And it's a damn shame it took a grand jury and the attorney general to come out with a report to verify everything that we've been saying for decades.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I'm actively saying, please killing people in the jail. Actively, because I mean maybe like out of me and Che and I don't know, maybe RAHMEL. I've probably been arrested the most for different things. Not proud of it, but I just be busy. But I'm not actually happy. Well, okay, I'm happy that this is happening. I'm happy they're bringing light to a situation. I've been saying that it's been like this for many years. I've actually had fear for my own life in that jail, in the county jail. I felt like, at one point, the atrocities, I would say atrocities that I've seen with black women, with pregnant women, with black men, period, with myself, in regards to the police. I've experienced I've experienced systemic racism and systemic injustice since I was 7 years old with the Aurora PD. Meaning they came to my house, like I had an abusive household, they came to my house, told my father to beat us with rubber hoses instead of sticks because it would leave marks. It wouldn't leave marks. Rubber wouldn't leave marks on us. Myself and my half brother are very fair. You know what I mean? But if he wanted to beat us, he could beat us with a rubber hose instead of a paddle. You know what I mean? I've been suffering with that since I was a small child, and we came here from East LA. You know what I mean? My mother had left us, and my father just kind of wilded out for a little bit. So the police were actively at our house until I went into the system with a whole broken face. So um, it was like that. So I've known for a fact that the Arapahoe County, Aurora PD, have never been, at least on this person's side, um, has always been, they arrested me from school to take me into the system and said that it was my fault that I provoked my father to bash my face in. You know what I mean? So I actually had nothing good to say about them ever. And every time I had got locked up here in the city of Aurora, I already knew that it was going to be hell for me when I got in to the jail. Because
Is that where you're at now? Is that where you're at? No,
right now, currently? Yeah, right now.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
She's in the Adams County part of Aurora.
I'm in the Adams County part of Aurora, and that was only because I found out on the show on Frontline Black News, and I made a bet with him, and I lost. I actually lost the bet because I thought I was in Arapahoe County, but I didn't realize that because of the gentrification that happened, I'm right on the cusp between Arapahoe and Adams. But either way, Adams County is just as worse for me because I actually watched people get. I actually thought I was going to die in Adams County one time, just going to the hospital because I have a bad heart. I was in there. I was in there during Ramadan of all times, right? And I was in the medical unit. They had at that time they had the medical unit and the psych unit in the same unit. And I was watching a man from another country. I couldn't say what country he was European, white. He was speaking a whole language. It sounded like German. Could have been Russian. Could have been something else, right? But he was freaking out for like 2-3 days, and the way they kept coming in and messing with him was like I was like banging on the window, like, stop, man, leave that man alone. Leave him alone. He was chilling. You know, next thing you know, he's butt naked. He's in there. He's just freaking out. You know what I mean? And I'm like, whatever. But what's weird about it is anybody who's ever been to jail know they never bring your gear from when you checked in. When you book in, they never bring your shit back up to where you're at and have you dress back down into your street clothes to let you out from your unit. You got to go through the whole motherfucking floor. You got to go down. They got to walk. You got to wait. You got to wait till you get back to the booking area. Then they sign you out. Then they give you your shit. They tell you to put your shit in the fucking little case, the little crates and everything. And then off on your way. We'll see you again next week. That type of shit. You know what I mean? But they came and brought this man up after they tranked him the day before. They tranked him. He was gone for like the whole day. And they brought like 9 officers in there to fuck with him. And all of a sudden he's screaming, and then he just stopped. And he was out for the whole day. Then the next day they come up, so he starts banging on the door because he's hungry or something. And I'm watching through the window and I'm like, oh, this shit ain't even right. Because all of a sudden they got this man's clothes and his little boots in their hand. You know what I mean? And I'm like, the fuck they doing? That's not how you take somebody out of the unit. You usually come and get them and you walk them down. You know what I mean? There's like 3 flights. There's like we're on like the 3rd floor. You know what I mean? So I'm watching him, and he's freaking out. He starts crying. He's trying to hold himself back, and it's like he don't even want to get dressed because he knows something's wrong. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, what the fuck are you doing? I'm yelling like, the fuck are you people doing? Why you got his clothes up here? Where are you taking him? Where are you taking him? Yeah, everybody's all now. I done hyped up everybody on the crew, on the whole floor. Everybody's banging on the unit. Where are they taking him? Where are they taking him? Because that's not usual. But that never happens, right, Ramel? That never happens, right? That never happens, right, Ramel? They never bring nobody's clothes to discharge them from jail on a unit. Never.
No.
So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then that man never came back. Never came back. Nobody knows, you know. Oh, well, we released him. Did you release him? Or did you do something to him? You know, like, and I'm in my mind, I'm thinking everybody's a culprit and you did something to him because you just, I mean, there's plenty of motherfuckers that don't speak English in jail. All day, every day. Okay? Plenty of motherfuckers in there. So, and there's plenty of rowdy motherfuckers in there that don't speak, supposed to speak no motherfucking English. So, why all of a sudden you come here to pick? And on that day, there was at least 3 others. So, why you take him though? What did he do? And where'd you take him to? Where'd you let him? Where'd you take him to? Where'd you release him to? Where did he get caught? Where did he get left off at the end of the day? Is he still alive? Do we even know? Because they could have took him to a car and they fucking did something to him somewhere. You know what I mean? It's the police. They're capable of all sorts of fucking madness. Who's calling? Ah! Hold on a sec. This might be the other queen. Talk amongst yourself real quick. Talk amongst yourself real fast. Let's see if I get her on the thing. Hold on a sec. Bianca, tap into the StreamYard. I can bring you on StreamYard. We're doing a show. We're doing a show right now.
Oh, you guys are doing a show?
Yeah, I sent you a link.
Okay, I'm gonna go on and get in it.
All right, then. Peace. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm bringing the sister on, the other queen of the platform, Queen Bianca Connor. Let's pray. Let's pray. Let's pray that the algorithms allow us to bring her on, because anytime Brother Che and Brother Ramel understanding might not be able to come on, because why is that, babe? You explain it better.
We're on the government watch list.
Yeah. The sister is that's my sister. She's one part of my educational reprogramming, my educational development. And she always talks about economics and family and things like that. And did you get the link, Brother Yanga, about I post about our website? Oh, device is not connected. What does that mean, baby?
That means her phone won't allow her to get on because her phone.
Shit. Hold on a sec. Where's the laptop, man?
Does she have a laptop?
Yeah, she got a laptop.
Have her try her laptop then. Because her phone, because I tried to have her on the StreamYards before and her phone wouldn't let her on.
I got Ramel on the phone, so you gotta just text her real quick, babe. From your thing real fast. Just text her, tell her to jump on it from the laptop, because she won't be able to get in. Hey man, that's always some bullshit, dude. But I gotta actually, like Brother Yanga, when I wanted the sister on, I gotta actually go to her house. We don't even talk. We just do it live. You know, because you never know. Motherfuckers are like listening. They prevent it. And I gotta actually go find her, seek her out, sit down with her, and get it cracking like that. And that's really terrible. Like, fuck y'all watching for? I mean, we know you're watching. Get over it. We're over it.
Right.
We're over it. We know we know you're watching. You put us on a list of fucking nonsense and some sort of whatever the fuck, but we ain't paying attention to that shit. Why are you still paying attention to it? We don't give a fuck about it. Why do you so much? What are we saying that's so bad? Feed your families, grow your own food, spend money with your people.
Right.
What's so wrong about that? Oh, because it's against the lines of white supremacy, or
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Is that what it is?
Absolutely. You will undermine us getting together will undermine the whole system. Us coming together, us shaking off. It goes back to, it really, like I said, we understand white supremacy. We understand one of the major tools of white supremacy is capitalism. Capitalism is based on who has access to the resources. Capital is the resource.
Welcome.
Well, my
queen, welcome.
But
Brother Yanga and Kruma, Brother Che, and my twin Ramel on the speaker. The whole crew in here.
Right,
welcome. We're talking about black. We're talking about revolutionary relationships, but we got caught up in a little topic right here about Aurora. Aurora, and they're making progress on their injustices, but not really. I'm not really like I'm a person that live here. I'm not really like all that impressed. They could have did it. They could have did it a long time ago. But we are talking. We are talking about the indictments and all that other shit. So, but our real topic was revolutionary relationships and the ugliness that can happen from them publicly.
Wow. Okay. Well, let me tell you the beauty of it. Let's go into the beauty of a revolutionary relationship before we talk about the downfalls of it.
Word.
The unity of knowing that you guys have the same mind, the security of knowing that you guys have the same mind. You guys both want liberation for your people, economic liberation for your people, you know, and being able to be secure in that aspect. Always knowing that this person, any decisions that they're really making regarding your relationship are not necessarily revolutionary based, but there's long term. You know, the decisions are long term. Most of the time they've been overlooked, or looked out throughout over a time span. It's not just spontaneous shit. And being able to fully understand each other, as far as, well, if he's come in from a stressful day, all he can fucking do is focus on what he's got to do tomorrow. I kind of understand why. It's those types of things we in revolutionary relationships are able to identify with each other on. There were a lot of stresses in my previous dealings, but at the same time, those stresses mainly we were able to shut out because we knew it was against us, period. It wasn't against him. It wasn't against me. It was against both of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think I would say pretty much everybody in the room is in a revolutionary relationship at some level. You know what I mean? We got RAHMEL, me, everybody is, or moving on from one or coming into one or something, been in one. But I had seen I had a few months ago, I had watched, I would say previously on an episode of Facebook, I had watched one lady attack a sister verbally, a minister, as I would say, she had a menacing statement. And in regards to the gentleman that was, or the man that was in it, it was mostly a threatening comment to him, and it's like bow to my will or else kind of conversation. And it was real tacky, real ugly type of shit, which put the sister, which was the sister, Brother Yang, would the sister be considered, she's like a leader, right?
Well, no, let's just be real about this shit. I don't care what she's considered. Right. If you go on social media and you are bashing a black man,
right? Oh, that's wrong all right.
You're not as far in the revolution as you think.
Right? No, the sister wasn't. It was another lady.
You can't look. We check in private. Yeah. We represent and protect each other in public.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I was like, whoa, because I watched this.
So I don't care what kind of look. The chick could be an Ephod priest, and to me, that was ratchet. And no, fuck that.
Yeah, right.
Wrong is wrong. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
we as women in general tend to be way more emotional about dealings and what have you. Not to say that men don't have emotions, it's just that they're able to harness them a little bit better, especially if they were raised in a home where there was a black man.
Yeah,
They can definitely control their emotions a little bit better than a woman. That being said, we as sisters have definitely got work to do.
Yeah.
We've got to really put down the stereotype of this dude, this, that, this. Start
Yeah.
looking at this dude that you're with the same way you would want somebody to treat your son, the same way you would want somebody to treat your brother. Now,
Right.
if a bitch hop on motherfucking Facebook and get to dragging my brother, I'm coming for her.
Correct.
So that being said, we can't do that to our men
Correct.
because
why I
they
was
are
going.
somebody's sister. They are somebody's son.
Correct. That's why I was going with that.
I mean, brother, not sister. You
Yeah.
know, they are somebody's brother. They are somebody's son. They are somebody's father.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, they somebody's daddy. So we don't know how old their children are. We don't know what these children see.
Yeah. Well,
You
yeah,
know,
that's why I was going with that. I was going with that. I was going
we
like,
have to really, we can't just think so much where we think, you know, women have a complex of thinking so big of themselves and so little of themselves at the same time. You know, they will think the world of themselves, but then at the same time, you think so little of yourself that you will feel like what you say on social media doesn't affect nobody else.
oh no, I do.
That's when you're really thinking little of yourself in those instances.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people, they post shit and they be like, well, fuck, I didn't think anybody was gonna look at it. I didn't think anybody was gonna see it.
Right.
Fuck that, you could have wrote that shit down in a fucking notebook and left it at that. That thought got out, it got expressed. But now, if you're gonna go onto a social platform, say something that makes sense. Period.
Mm-hmm. But I bring brother Yang in.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been guilty of it before. You know,
I think everybody has at one point.
yeah, you know, but the thing is, that's why I said we as women got work to do. We as Black women got work to do. Social media has programmed us into telling all of our fucking business.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because it says say what's on your mind don't mean you got to say what's on your mind.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? And I mean, it's down to the point where certain people, they know more about your business, they ain't even met you, type of deal. You know what I'm saying? They know where to trigger you. They know what, all they gotta do is go back to a couple of months ago in your post and see what the fuck had you all sad. And then when they're around you, fucking trigger you. That type of shit. We have to grow out of that shit. We have to unlearn that. We have to relearn privacy within our homes. Not saying that, you know what I'm saying, if something bad is going on in the home, that we don't speak about it or nothing like that. But it's just, there are other ways of dealing with things. There are other more efficient and proficient ways of us still staying united and making sure that we take our issues on head on ourselves.
That's where I was going with that. Thank you. When I see things like that, the first thing I think about is, couldn't have this been handled privately? You know, surely, you know, one shames the other shames the other, and they both look bad, and it's both embarrassing.
Well,
It embarrasses them, but it also embarrasses.
too, especially when certain, like, or especially if you like the head of an organization, the other person's the head of an organization, you know, that type of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, you're living publicly, but that does not mean you have to endure things publicly.
Correct. You know what I mean? It's like an embarrassment all the way around. It's not only humiliating to both parties. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you.
But it decreases the faith within our own people. You know,
it's embarrassing. it's embarrassing to both parties, but it's embarrassing to the organization as well. You know what I mean?
Like I said, when it comes down to pissing contest, it's only between two people. The only people that are suffering is the ones that are getting wet. The people in the middle getting pissed on. That's who the fuck is suffering, not the two people that are in the pissing contest.
Yes, exactly. Thoughts, Brother Yanga?
I think for me, it goes back to really what I call transvaluism. What is just what we place values on now. No longer do we place values on what we did before really accepting their system as our way of life. We no longer place value on human life. And that being general, specifically when you place value on human life, you have to learn where human life came from. I think, and so you have a natural reverence for women. I think in our society, naturally, we came out of matriarchal societies. We came out of predominantly societies run by women. And we find that tradition continue for us Black Africans in America. When you look at us, predominantly, the majority of us are raised by women. And even though our fathers were in our life, like, my father may have been there time and time again, you know what I'm saying, off and on, still, I lean towards my mother's bloodline. You know what I'm saying? I know, so this is how you find us doing. So the key is when we start getting out of that, to me, and started trying to place Black men in and defy them by white male standards of manhood, that was the first illusion. You create a standard of manhood and make it impossible for Black men to live up to it. You make Black malehood or manhood the standard of providing, and then you stop Black men from being able to provide. You make manhood the standard of protecting. Then you kill us, kill our women, kill our children by the police, so there's nothing we can do. So you emasculate the Black man. You see what I'm saying? And now you've emasculated us, you've denigrated us, put us down, and you physically oppress us. We know we can't take that repression out on you, so we implode. We take it on to our woman. And our woman doesn't know how to handle that. That's one of the first messes. Secondly, capitalism is profit over people. So anything that they can make money off, they will. Like I said, the only thing Black people have, we don't have access to resources. We don't have access to wood.
The reason why,
water. Go ahead.
The reason why this company, okay, this corporation has profited the way that it has is always been based on our demise. Yeah. So if we look at hospitals, they hope that we get sick. If we look at dentists, they hope that we have fucked up teeth. Everything that they actually capitalize and profit off of is off of somebody else's Black or
it has to be. And it absolutely, that is all right, we'll see you in a minute. Pardon me. That is the fundamental of capitalism. Capitalism is never preventive. Capitalism is never healing completely or never curing. Capitalism is about giving treatment. You, exactly. That's the big money of it. It's treatment. So what they did then, and that's the only thing Black people can produce. Like I said, we don't have gold, we don't have water, so the only thing we produce is us, our labor. Either we're making the product, our illnesses, like the sister said, our teeth, whatever. You as a Black person are the commodity. Now how they went so far to capitalize off us is get us addicted to drama. Jerry Springer, Atlanta Love and Hip Hop, and Love this and Jerry. So now that is another level.
It promotes a false reality.
Exactly.
So this is what I always tell people. The mind is the daily computer that you use every day. Your input becomes your output.
And they encourage that.
That's what they know. And that's the reason why they will bombard certain images and then they reinforce it with the music. And then after that, they reinforce it with social media. So you're basically being force fed this. Like there's
Exactly. And you're
and
paying for it. And
yeah,
you're
and
paying for it.
output, they know
Like,
eventually
like I said
a
that one day,
little bit of drama in your life, a little bit of ratchetness, a little bit of this.
Yeah. And
Because
exactly. And you're paying for it. And all of it, and that's what the point that I'm trying to make is like what the sister saying. All of that is tied. This is why we need brothers like Che and Krumah to run politically, because the constant negative reinforcement of ourself gets us to do actions that contributed to further denigration of ourselves. Constant negative reinforcement of bad eating habits or self-indulgent lets us go think we deserve a break today every day. Let us think we can have it our way every day. So we go and we, so all of these times, and it's capitalizing. They like to say, they capitalize on the poor health. They capitalize on the mental issues. I found out in school when your child that they get money for special program schools.
yes.
Before that children are diagnosed with certain things, they get money. So
Which leads to the misdiagnosis of our children as well.
Exactly. That's what I just said,
and
misdiagnosis.
that's
what I was talking about. Remember the other day?
Down to the medical field and the mental health field.
Exactly.
There are countless misdiagnoses on people, and it's because they think, oh, okay, well, there's certain symptoms of this, and that, and what have you. So this is typical, and this is what they will say. This is typical depression. This is typical this, that. You see, how do you know what the fuck is typical?
Because they
impose. The only reason why they really know about any of these mental diseases and illnesses and stuff like that is because they cause them.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna interject on that real quick.
Look, that's like a person.
I'm gonna interject on that real quick.
So that's the reason why their ass hurts. Nobody else knows, but that parent knows because it whooped your ass.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna interject on that real quick, Bianca. I'm a product of that very same shit. I've been a product of the system since I can remember. Probably since 8 years old. Definitely since 12. Okay, but I've been going to rural mental health most of my life here in Colorado, right? And because my mother said I was crazy, right? My mother said I was crazy. I wasn't crazy, just clairvoyant. Okay. But at the time, I'm Generation X, product of 1980, born in 1980.
I'm Generation X.
So my mother, white, okay, we already know how that works out of the system. We're not even talking about it. The villain thought I was crazy, so she had me tested, blah blah blah. And I'm just clairvoyant. Back at the time with my mother,
because they can't explain it.
Right.
This is one thing.
So
if they catch enough of the same symptoms for something,
it looks like
what they do in the medical field, all of that shit. That's why so many people get misdiagnosed for the flu.
Right.
They
it looks
actually have like a stomach virus, but it's diagnosed as the flu.
Correct.
Because they're like, okay, well, this is a new bug. We don't know what it is. What is it closest to?
Right, and that's what it looks like. It looks like because I exhibit, I'm super. I vibrate super high, but the things that happen with me that I know for a fact I can hear, I can move, I can feel, right, are so high that it looks like schizoaffective disorder. It looks like mania. It looks like a whole bunch of different shit, right?
Do you realize that they used to call people high? They used to literally say it was reefer madness.
Right. And what it is
I'm high, motherfucker. There's no madness in this whole situation anyway. Right. Like, I'm relaxed. What the fuck? How's there madness? But you want to know what it was doing? It was making white people speak their fucking minds.
Right. But because of the way we just described it, with the mental health, our minds are in the hands of motherfucking supremacy, period. But the fact is they want us to stay crazy, so they keep making their money. They keep getting paid. And they get paid off the state. The states get paid by the taxpayers. And it's just a revolving door of fucking issues. And nobody, if they believe in those titles, terms of fucking I'm fucked up, I'm crazy, I'm insane. right?
Let me
Instead of
tell you something.
clairvoyant
They
metaphysical
made sure
knowledge,
that people were fucked off in the head
they made sure
way
that they're on purpose.
beforehand. You want to know what they did? And this is funny. I know I don't know if a lot of people y'all know this. Well, I'm pretty sure everybody in this group knows this, but they used to have cocaine as a fucking medicine. Okay?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just like what they're
And it
doing
was
nuts right now.
prescribed to housewives, pregnant housewives,
Yes.
all of
It
that
was
shit.
reduced. It was reduced to like
So we got to
pregnancy.
look at these children, well, these
Right.
baby boomers that were
We
born in the 40s
we did
and
that.
50s and
Yes,
shit like
We
that.
did that.
get to the
Let me
80s.
say
They
this.
had they
Let me
really
say
did
this.
have mental defects,
Right.
and nobody questioned that shit, you know,
I
because
still
they
Right,
were
remember.
brother Yanga.
sleeping. But then
Right,
you
brother
get
Let me
a
Yanga.
say
clip
this.
of it in the
Let me,
70s where they turn around and turn it into a drug.
Hold on,
After they
Bianca.
see
Hold on, Bianca.
that
Hold on,
too
Bianca.
many,
Hold
go
on,
ahead, go
Bianca.
ahead. Let her finish her thought. Let her finish her thought.
Okay.
Let her finish.
after they see all the side effects and shit like that. Now, mind you, there were a series of baby boomers. I don't know if y'all know this though. There was a series of baby boomers that were like basically serial killers. And
Mm.
they were going back and they were asked their parents, they was asking these mothers, like, were they on any kind of sedatives or drugs when they were pregnant with them? Every last one of them bitches did cocaine. Every
Mm.
last
Absolutely.
one of them. And so they knew that it was fucking up their people's head. You see what I'm saying? So then that's when they decided to, you know what I'm saying, make it illegal and shit like that. Oh, it's a drug. It's a drug.
It's
It's the
no,
same fucking drug that you guys casually put in fucking Coca-Cola.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. My whole thing is looking towards the end design and the purpose of everything that they're doing, because we can go on and on about what they're doing to us and how they've implemented. I've even back to when we look
It's
at the
all about death. It's all about death.
yeah, it's
Look, it's
and we
extermination.
look at and Bianca, hold on for a minute. We look at but what we have to look at why it's about death. Let's look at the nature. To me, revolution is a natural thing. Revolution is an antagonistic force. It's the opposite, it's the complete opposite of what is unrighteous. You got oppression, you got natural thing. The white man is autocidal. The white man is autocidal. The European man, the white man knows that their time is limited. They weren't
Very,
created, designed, or
very.
placed on the planet Earth to have a very long. They have a beginning date and they have an
Any
ending date.
mutation will eventually clear itself
Eventually,
out.
so they
And that
don't right
goes genetically, that goes with if you know, like
everything.
let's say
So when you it's like you're saying. So when you have a genetic, when you have a mutation, when you have this thing that knows it has an end date, it doesn't understand about its universal positioning isn't one with creation. It doesn't give a damn about sapping the resources. It doesn't give a damn about life and death, the continuation of life, development and betterment of the human species. All of this. So it must create a system to ensure its survival and continuation. This is why we have all of these things coming at us. Our question is, what do we create to counter it? What do we create to counter it? We know that.
segregation. Let's
Yeah.
just go on and get the
Well,
fuck away from them. You
yeah,
see,
yeah, and that's
any other part of nature knows their predator. Or you see what I'm saying? So a deer is not going to fuck around and be in any general area of a grizzly. Why the fuck is it just us that is still hanging around their fucking predator?
the thing. We have been so taken out of our natural state that we don't understand what a natural predator is or what a natural enemy is. It's like if we seen a dog walking down the street, if you saw a pit bull walking down the street and it ran
I'd
up to
be
you
okay
and
with a pit bull now. German Shepherd?
okay,
No.
a German Shepherd, and a German Shepherd ran up to you and said, meow.
Are you there?
You'd be like, what? You know what I'm saying? You would be like, what? Yet and still, we have 22 million Africans walking around here, lady.
Say something.
And we don't see that, and we wonder why we're crazy. That in itself
Yes.
is an abnormality of nature.
I do
That
want
It
in
is.
itself is
It
crazy.
is. It
You know
is.
what I'm saying?
And that's the reason why we are not supposed to be anything like them.
So and that's why I was saying about revolution being natural. Our salvation lies in being the complete opposite of our oppressor. And this
That's
goes back
correct.
to what you were talking about in relationships. In my opinion, of course, one of the biggest problems that lie in relationship, or two of the biggest problems that lie in relationship, is one, we don't have a standard or structure of
Say
the
that, Finish.
contemporary
Yes.
What's the show for a minute?
Black male family, of the contemporary relationship. I'm not talking about in olden days. Like, we got a new phenomena that our parents didn't have to deal with back in their days, called baby mama and baby daddy.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So
You know,
our
now,
society,
listen, they did have to deal with those situations sometimes, but this was the thing. Even with that, there was such a value on the
that's what
family and the
they
household
did.
that even if, Pops had left the household or whatever, he coming by once a week and he gonna
But
bring some
that's what
money
I'm
over there, make sure his children is okay. He
that's
might
what
take
I'm
his
telling you. He
children
didn't
over to
have
the shows.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Bianca. We had a social cultural understanding, but it wasn't the
They
phenomenon of baby mama, baby
capitalized
daddy.
off of
Right.
the mistakes of certain men that didn't want to, and so they was like,
Well,
well, if he doesn't want to, we're gonna make him.
we,
We're gonna
well,
make
and,
him.
and
And
also,
then
and
this woman was like, yeah, make
they
him. And
they
then the next thing you know,
they created that, Bianca. Let's look at the times. Like, I'm old enough to
oh
remember when they
yeah,
created
oh
that.
yeah, I
I
remember
looking
when
for
they kicked the
times
black man out of the household.
exactly when my mother got on welfare. When I
Yep.
first moved to Atlanta and my mother got on welfare, I play with you not, a little white woman used to come and inspect the apartment to make sure no man lived there. And my mama had a boyfriend. So now imagine, here I am, this young man, watching this grown man get his
Hi.
shit and hide from a little white woman. You've already demasculated the black man in my eyesight, and you
Right.
further demasculated him in his woman's eyesight, because he can no longer meet the standard that you said a man's supposed to be, provide and protect and all of this stuff, and he's hiding
Now,
from this little white woman.
when
I,
white women was getting welfare and they were living in these rural areas, what they did was turned around and made that to where the white man could still stay there because it was agricultural funding.
yeah,
It was agricultural funding because he was able to still have farming land and this, that, and
yeah,
what have you. So if they stumbled upon hard times,
yeah, yeah.
if
So
they
it's
stumbled upon hard
yeah,
times, they were
yeah,
able to get funding and the
yeah,
man was still able to stay in the house.
exactly. So we find this treatment
I'm back.
coming, those giving us those certain treatment. That's one. Secondly,
Were you able to get
with
it?
that treatment, with the social trauma, we're being isolated, we're being alienated, we're being denigrated as a
All we
black
can
man.
relate is to ourselves, and we expect the other person to be able to relate to us with no social standing of what we actually. That's why I says it's so beneficial, a revolutionary relationship, because
Yeah.
I
So
know for a fact that as soon as my man leaves the house, he is bombarded. He is bombarded with white supremacy in his face. So
eh,
if he comes back upset, I'm not going to take that shit personal. I'm not
well,
taking it like he's upset with me. He's upset with the world he just came from.
that's
And
that
it is my duty to bring him
that's where they
peace
say,
in the
Bianca,
home.
that's why they say the family that prays together stays together. That's where getting knowledge together as a revolutionary couple comes in, so you both understand the same enemy. But before then, and even with understanding the same enemy, the number two thing is communication. We don't know how to communicate with one another.
Well,
That's
no,
the
and
bottom
it's
line.
because we've been
Now,
deprived of
y'all even let
learning each
Ravel
other's
talk.
love languages.
Ravel
Do you
want to say something.
understand? Because a man's love language and a woman's love language are very, very different. But at the same time, we could be saying the exact same thing to each other. A woman can say, I love you, and a man can take out the trash and make sure that the house is clean. And that's his I love you.
Right.
Do you
Listen,
see?
I need to
We
go out and
got
come back
to
in. I got technical
understand this
difficulties.
about each
Yeah,
other
go ahead. I
and
got
stop
you.
having Western expectations of love within our
All right,
homes.
wait. Ramel want to say something. Calm down.
Okay,
Everybody
yeah,
calm down.
I've been trying to say
Ramel been
something
trying to
for a
talk
bit,
for
man.
like
It's
10
all
minutes.
good.
He is co-host, you
Yeah,
know.
I just yeah,
My
so
Let the
yeah,
man speak.
yeah,
Y'all
yeah.
hyped up.
Now,
See, I knew that was a good idea to bring you on the show. I
Come
always say,
again?
I said, God, y'all got hyped up. As I knew it was a good idea to bring her on the show. And then we're going to let the other co-host speak.
She's
Go
a
ahead.
good
Go ahead.
speaker. She's a good speaker. All right, all I want to say is that, several subjects that I've heard before, you know, I think that the devil, through slavery, has bred into us the illusion of hate. You know, and that's why we hate each other, we can't get along with each other, you know, and the sense of equality has been shattered amongst us. You know, you think about that mental health situation.
Back up from the phone a little bit. Yeah, just back up from the phone a little bit. Yeah, now I can. Go ahead. Go for it.
So, like I was saying initially, that the devil through slavery has bred into us the illusion of hate, and that's why we always argue with each other, can't find equality amongst each other, and can't get along. You know.
So when we talk about the devil, we are talking about the white man, right? We're not just talking about like a spiritual figure.
No, we're talking about the white man.
Okay.
We're just talking about the white man.
I'm like, because there is no such
No, we're talking about the white man. We're always talking about him. Go ahead.
Yeah, when I talk about the devil, I'm talking about white society.
Yeah, the Saturn people.
Establishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know, the establishment itself has bred into us the illusion of hate. That's why we can't get along. That's why we can't have social equality. That's why we don't know how to work amongst each other in unity. And they profit off of that because they could take advantage of us easier if we're in a disarray than if we were united. And speaking about the mental health issues, I myself have schizophrenia. I was born with the shit.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I know that there's a stigma on it, you know, but I've been able to overcome the stigma of it. You know, people think that because if you got schizophrenia, you can't achieve certain things, you can't do certain things. And I've been able to overcome those things.
Yeah, that's you be doing amazing things.
Come again?
Yeah, you be doing amazing things.
Look, I'm proud of you, Rah.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
yeah, thank you. You know, and having schizophrenia ain't no joke, man. It's real. I know. You know, we've been so misinformed about mental health and mental health education that you know, we really don't understand the terms and, you know, a lot of the times that it relates to, and I just try to become more informed about my mental health condition, and I do things to combat my mental health condition because it affects my relationships with people. You know, a lot of times I feel like I can't trust people. You know, I feel like I can't put my trust into people. You know, and it's real. You know, so I don't want people to think that mental health schizophrenia is a figment of your imagination.
No, it is very real. Every single Black person in America suffers from PTSD, and it's post-traumatic slave disorder. And mentally, there are so many conditions. Like, okay, fear instilled in one generation passes down to 40 generation. This is the reason why I see that they have become more ruthless about what they show us. They show us
Or
so
lack
much shit
thereof.
nowadays because they want that fear to be instilled because they see our children growing out of it. They see our generation growing out of that fear that was instilled back in the 40s. And so now they're trying to make it more and more blatant, the gun down victims and stuff like that by the police. We're seeing that. Now, people see this as progress. They're like, yeah, well, this has been going on for years. We're actually finally seeing it. And that's the reason why we're so upset. That's why, let me tell you something. They are showing it for a whole nother purpose. It's not to get you riled up and not fearing. They want you afraid. They want you afraid of that being you. And if they have it on
Everything
TV,
they do is a psychological attack. You're right about that.
Right.
you know,
I-
so this being said, we have been programmed and conditioned into so many of the mental illnesses and disorders that we have. It's not necessarily genetic based. And if it is, like I'm saying, it's because of trauma from prior
And-
generations.
That's true.
And I like to jump in there.
Do you know that if a person is sad long enough,
Bianca,
they can actually they can change some of their genetic components?
Right.
yeah,
Go ahead,
Brother Yenga.
Brother Yenga.
Go ahead,
Let
Brother
me
Yenga.
jump in. I think one of the things too, and I agree with the sister about the trauma, about some of the so-called mental illnesses we face. But even before we go back into our introduction into this devil, our meeting running into this recessive creature, I don't make Africa into a heaven or a utopia. I believe that what they label now as so-called mental illnesses existed in Africa. What I do believe, though, is that our social and cultural understanding was different, so we handled it differently. Instead of it being a mental illness, they were chosen by the gods. You see what I'm saying? So it's
Exactly, and they receive specific markings.
We went from these people, or people who what they call mental illness, being people chosen by the God, our priests, our visionaries, our wise people, to the dregs of society. This is only to repress the great African in you.
Be told,
because you and I'm gonna just be 1 second, because we as a people, these mundane, this legislation and these laws are made for whether it be through our religion or whether it be government, are made for savages. Who needs a law that says thou shall not kill? These savages needed absolutely thou shall not take.
They only took 10 of the 42 laws of my
right. And they struggle to keep up with those 10. So they struggling to keep up with those 10. So we understand that these laws were made for my name. So when you get people what they call schizophrenia, or when you get all of this other stuff, a lot in our systems, they were people. I guess what I'm trying to say is this: we have to be very careful of how we let them diagnose us and place us in categories, because they are unnatural people, and their judgment are based on unnatural perceptions. And they're coming to a natural people, trying to place unnatural perceptions on a natural people, and they give us to think that we're wrong. In my concluding and saying this,
when it backfires for us, you know what I'm saying? Because if you have a white cat and a black cat, if you put them both in pink dye, the only one that you're gonna see, you're actually gonna get the result for is the one in white. You're gonna see that one's pink. You're not gonna see the one that got pink that got dyed black. Black that got dyed pink. They both got dyed pink.
Right.
Now, keep this in mind: if the dye is bad, the only person that you're really going to be able to tell something is wrong with is the black cat, because that's the hair
Right.
that's going to fall first and stuff.
Yeah. Yep. So exactly. I can agree with
And
that.
so that being said, anything as far as medicine, anything as far as justice, anything that was actually geared a program for them. White man's heaven is a black man's heaven, and always has been.
I always will be. You know, and that's why I say we were designed to be a certain thing. But just in concluding, I wanted to say this: that when we basically, I know we're talking about that all of us, black people here in America, suffer from a social schizophrenia. I seen my mother.
Slave disorder.
I seen my mother do it every day. She had a different. When they called her on the where she'll be talking to me, I said, "Get this goddamn garbage." I said, "Do your chores." And when that phone rang and our office rang, she'll be like, "I said, do you? Hello, yes. How are you today?"
That's me all day. That's me all day.
That's too American.
I mean, I don't necessarily like bark orders at my children or anything. I do talk to them because I want to set precedent.
No, I'm not just talking about. I'm not just talking about changing the voice. When I was coming up, and we still do it today, it was real pressure to be other than yourself. Don't you go out here and embarrass me in front of these white folks. Don't go out here act like a nigga. Don't you do this. Don't you? We are the only people that worry about being over ethnic. You go anywhere, they're gonna be in there with a little dot on their head, turban and shit. The Hispanic, everybody I have their ethnicity except for the black man and woman. And we practice schizophrenia. We'll lose ourselves to pretend to be someone else for 8 to 12 hours a fucking day for all of our life.
Say that.
We don't never get a day off. We have to be someone, and you can't help but to be fucking crazy. You never get to be yourself.
Because then you have to try and find.
Because then you got to justify it. You have to answer for it when you're yourself.
Your children are trying to find themselves. Everybody's just lost. And so yes, when you speak upon that, yes, I fully agree with you, brother. And like
it's not that, but we gotta justify it 24/7 when we act like ourselves. Yeah. We gotta answer for it. They don't understand why we're acting so different from the normality.
Black people. The indoctrination is so real. You would get black people. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I've been embarrassed. This is how the indoctrination. I've been embarrassed by black people. I've allowed my own people to embarrass me.
That part when they
and I have to be, but the only way to fix it is to be real.
For real. But this way, honestly, you know what I'm saying? Who they are, and they're actually showing. Okay, so it would be like going to a doctor's office and being embarrassed that somebody took off their fucking gauze and showed they nasty ass fucking. You know what I'm saying? Like, put that shit up.
Right.
I'm showing you something's fucking wrong.
Yes.
What the fuck? That's all I'm doing.
That's it. And so we don't want master.
We supposed to actually go over there and talk with that person and be you know, what's good? What's up? You know,
and empathize with
this shit's horrible.
We're indoctrinated by master, and I'm gonna be silent. We've been so indoctrinated by master, we're actually embarrassed of black people and embarrassed for our white counterparts. I'm sorry you had to see all that nigga shit. I'm sorry you had to witness that.
That whole moment.
My thing is I've always looked at it when I was looking at it, you know, I really was concerned. I was always looking at it like, what are they gonna go home and say about us? What are they gonna go home and say about us? You know, that type of shit. That was always thinking when I would think like
that. Jesse apologizing for me.
Exactly, but you know, it's that's a condition. Even though it may not be as severe as other people, that's a condition that we shouldn't feel like we should have to apologize.
No,
For
and
our
if
people.
anything, we should be
people-
doing and finding out what's wrong with our family.
The Honorable,
Yeah,
the
our
Honorable
people-
Elijah Muhammad said, accept your own and be yourself.
Say what, Ramel?
I said, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, accept your own and be yourself.
There you go.
So why be embarrassed about who you are and what you do?
Listen,
Exactly.
even if you don't agree with something that person has done, like if somebody, let's say you out at a restaurant and somebody cutting the fuck up, you know what I'm saying? They like, this bill, fuck all this, you know what I'm saying? They really going off and shit. Instead of pulling out phones and recording, instead of sitting up here ignoring the whole fucking situation, trying to look, I ain't got nothing to do with them black folks over there. That type of shit, we need to be getting the fuck up. Hey, what's going on over here? You know,
Yeah.
can you know, I just want to, even if they snap on us, fuck that, get out of my business. Okay, look, I just wanted to make sure you was good. That was it.
Trying to help. You're having a whole moment right here.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
That made me say that. That made me right there. You're having a whole moment.
Step in and do that at 7-Eleven a couple of times. I was at Dollar Tree one time, and this
Straight
one,
intervener.
you know, she basically just told the dude to give her fucking 6 feet and shit. But you know, she was a little extra with it. So I was like, you know, I stood silent while she was, you know, going on. But then I was like this. I got you. I understand exactly where you coming from. You just wanted him to move back. And so then after that, she was like, you know, she was right behind me. I said, sis, I got you. What are you buying? I just bought her shit. You see what I'm saying? It's stuff like that. We have to be able to be there for each other.
Right. That's
We
part of
can't
the black
just
code
leave-
too. You know what I mean?
You know,
Be
especially
supportive.
Part of the code too.
Yeah.
if a person is
That's
not,
why relationship
if a
is
person doesn't
support
give a
one
fuck
another.
about embarrassing themselves out in public, something's wrong. Do you see what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Whether it's something that was done to them or something was wrong in that situation.
Yeah, it's part of the
Nope.
code. It's part of the
It's
black
not
code.
they
To
just gonna
uplift.
fucking do it just because.
Right. No.
And
She's
what's
just
wrong?
going on. She's just some sort of triggered moment right there. And you know, like
She's
we
black
have these
American.
moments where we're gonna be like, hey, you know, it's okay. Right here.
Right.
You know, that
You're
common
not,
voice.
you're not dealing with this shit alone,
Help
and
each
I'm
other,
just
man.
some black
Shit's real.
artist. You know what I'm saying?
We're degrading each other and
Right.
talking shit about each other. Now it's time for us to start helping each other.
Well,
Right, and it's part of the code.
This is-
Uplift your brother, uplift your sister. You know what I mean?
this is what, you know, groups like P4P, this is one of the reasons we started P4P, because we understand that problem, the issue, the trigger moment is being Black African here in America. That we're always at a trigger moment.
Yeah.
So it's and what they like to do is to isolate these incidents so we don't see that it's systemic. They like to isolate the George Floyds. They like to isolate the Mike Browns. So we don't see it's systemic. There's a pattern to this shit. So we create the groups that not only did I catch you in this moment, sister, brother, trigger moment, I belong to a group that is a support group. It's an advocacy group for Black Africans in America, for us going through this very same thing. And we come together, and not only do we acknowledge the problem, do we find out what the problem is, acknowledge it, but we sit around and we discuss solutions. What can we do, even if it's nothing but to boycott this racist ass Arab, Hindu, whatever's in this store? Because I find when you find us going off in these stores, a lot of these stores have a history of bullshit with the masses.
Exactly, and then people will be like, "Well, they didn't do that shit to me." So
Exactly. Yes, I tell them yes.
I'm
I
so
tell them
thankful
yes.
that my community is behind me, has been behind me over here the way that it has. I had an incident, I'd say 2 years back, up at this 7-Eleven on King Street, right up the street from me. And
that
Arabic dude up in there called me a nigga. And brother Sharif Ali, he went up there, he confronted the dude. My neighbors, once they heard about it, they have not shopped up there since. And I mean, this isn't just Black neighbors. These are my Mexican neighbors. None of them have shopped up there.
Let me ask you this. What is there a minority that works up there?
It was an Arabic man who said it to me.
I'm talking about, was there any Black African American working up there?
Oh no.
That's what we had an incident similar in Atlanta, and we boycotted the store, and we hurt them so bad. We said, but here are the conditions. Not only a nice little, we want a financial tribute to the Black community. Of course, I'll take it in the Black community.
But you're gonna hire one of us in there.
Exactly.
Tax reparations.
Exactly. You're gonna put somebody in the community
Now,
in this
listen,
store.
I don't know if they've done that since, because me and my people, we ain't been up there since it happened.
So
but I
exactly
tell you this much.
Good. Don't go back.
That shit, if they did put a Black person in there, I'm pretty sure, you know what I'm saying, he don't even like being up there, because I tell you, it was a very racist setting. And so, and with it being right off of West Colfax, they felt like they justified in the way that they were treating everybody, because everybody was a potential drug user walking up in there.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm thankful for that within my community, because I spoke the fuck up. I said, that motherfucker up there is racist. Don't you take your ass up there. They don't deserve none of your money. All of that. I did. I told them, and my neighbors, other people, they'd be like, you know what I'm saying? She might be on her ranch. She tripping. They ain't did nothing to me. And I don't like walking all the way down to such and such. So I'm that type of shit. No.
Man, let me tell you something. We will get
potentially in them. Every last one of them, because they know that I'm a person. I don't run around starting shit, So if you can come for me like that, they know that you can come for them. And that's when it's like, fuck no. And this is why we
practice the communal power. This is why we practice collective power. What we go back to talk about again, Dahl, when we talk about consumer power, and taking it. First, I go back to groups like P4P, having a group. Secondly, not only economic boycott, but bringing awareness, shaming. You have to shame. And then thirdly, hold on one second, Doc. Let me say this. Let me finish this one thought.
Get good about that shit too.
Let me finish this last thought. After shaming, once you have the power of the people and street power, and if that's a store that's located in certain type of communities, and I'm not going to say all online, but I'm just saying hypothetically, in a book I read one time, in this movie I saw one time, when Negroes control their community, they control those stores in the community. I don't give a fuck about the Arabs. And it can get very uncomfortable for them trying to operate a business in a predominantly Black community. So it all begins with organizing the people. It all begins with organizing the people and letting the people know that they don't have to tolerate this. And organizing means even if we got to get somebody at church to volunteer to give us store runs once a week, so we don't have to go up to that joker. Whatever we have to do to begin to organize the people to create the culture. And it's not going to be easy, but we have to constantly bombard the people to remind them. But that's what I'm saying. It's gonna work in the collectiveness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Brother, we're coming up to our closing statements. Go ahead, Brother Yanga, you go first. No way up.
Oh man, let me just say I really enjoyed the conversation. We go back to the initial conversation of relationships or revolutionary relationships. Remembering that the revolutionary is a type. The revolutionary is one who has evolved from the state of prison. The revolutionary is one who doesn't always do the right thing, but every action that they do, the intentions are right and exact and to be beneficial and edifying for the people. And that can't start outside the home if it doesn't start inside of the home. You see, our homes are a microcosm of a macrocosm. Our homes are a smaller version of the larger community. And so this working dynamic, your rap brothers, how you gonna rap to the community? How you gonna get out here and get the community involved? If your woman ain't digging your rap, if your woman ain't feeling you can forget about going to the community,
right?
And having somebody.
They ain't gonna believe.
So you have to really practice and hone your craft on your family. You know what I'm saying? So that would be my closing statement. The revolutionary is one that evolves to a type and just constantly work at it. And we will see it reflected in the closest thing to us. And that's our women and our children. And if you don't see it reflected in that, man, you're not doing the project right.
Yeah. All right. We'll go ahead. We'll move it. Thank you, Brother Yeager, of course.
Thank you.
I hit you up with our next little segment in case you want to check out. All right. You don't have to. You can stay for the next little part. Go ahead, Sister Bianca. Closing statement.
Oh, me? Okay. All right. Well, my closing statement would be, we have to recognize within our homes the forgiveness that we are willing to bestow upon whites. We have to be able to implement within our home first and foremost. And as far as mental awareness, just keeping in mind this nation's history, there's no way that this nation is our friend. Remember who your predator is, okay? And yeah, knowledge isn't free. You got to pay attention. That's that.
Okay. Jay? Go, baby.
Thank you for having me on today. This has been a very awesome conversation. I appreciate Brother Young, Bianca, all the input they gave today. All I can say is that we're at war, Black family, and it's time to acknowledge that and take the proper steps to win this war, because ain't nobody gonna save us but us. Ain't nobody gonna do for us but us. Ain't nobody gonna look out for us but us. So it's time that we implement that and make that our daily ritual. Like, we gotta eat, drink, and live revolution. This isn't something that is half time or part time. It's a full-time job, if you will. And not for everybody, but those of us that have embarked on this journey, on this path, it's up to us to uplift one another and help each other along this path, because you were chosen. So I appreciate you having me on, babe. And yeah.
Say cut the check. It's cut the check season, babe. That's all anybody want to talk about nowadays. Cut the check.
Well, that's not
Right now.
but yeah, cut the check. Reparations, $100 billion. For any other politicians that's seeking your vote, demand something for your vote.
Yeah.
Period.
Why do you say cut the check all day?
Demand something for your vote. Cut the check. That's all we want. Cut the check.
RAHMEL, understanding, would you like to have a closing statement?
Yes, this is RAHMEL and the saying and the angel of peace from the east. Understand and understood in the neighborhood near you. Bring a little hope without the hope. Finish the frontline campaign. Salute to the fallen soldiers. I just want to say thank you all for being part of the show today. And for some reason, I got some feedback, but we're going to make it. The algorithms is right regardless of whom or what. And I just want to say, that unity is essential. The devil's trying to keep us separated, so we got to find a way to come together as one. Thank you.
All right, in my closing statement from the Seduction Doll. First of all, thank you for joining us here at the RVA, the Revolutionary Agenda. We have a heavy day today where we're talking about a lot of serious things because the revolution is happening now. Mel used to say it wasn't going to be televised, but I was starting to wonder if it is actually going to be televised because shit's just cracking off. But we're definitely not going to let nobody make no money off of it. And we're definitely not going to let nobody profit off of our shames and fucking the struggle that we're about to go through, or that we are going through, but we're going through it in a different way. I want to, on our next programming, which will be a little later on today, people, we're going to talk about some serious, heavy issues. We're going to talk about children that are coming up missing, and or getting adopted when they shouldn't be. We're going to talk about those kind of things. Yeah. What did I say? Yeah. What did I say? Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I was feeling myself when I put that damn ringtone on. Anyway, all right. And what I want to say in closing is, ladies, with gentlemen in the revolution, especially, well, more than most black men in the revolution, we have to protect them. Right now, black masculine men, heterosexual men, are almost a rare breed. You got a lot of demasculating. You got a lot of feminization going on. You got a lot of the oppressor putting a lot of heavier things on them than they should, trying to make them less than a man than they should be. And there's a lot of things going on with our men that they're just trying to hold on to the masculinity that they got, and we shouldn't, by no means, ever demasculate a black man in public, even in the home and private. We need them. And if you say you don't, you're a goddamn liar. Slap yourself for that shit. We need them. We need them very badly. We need them to protect us. I mean, we encourage them to provide for us, but we definitely need them to protect us and to defend us and to breed with, have children with, to bring back the family, the structure of the family. We need them for a whole bunch of reasons. And right now, it would be crazy to say that we don't protect them from white women. Of course, we do. We always will. But we also got to protect them from the white man, the dominant society, and anything that's just trying to fill their head with unnecessary things that they know somewhere deep down inside they don't need. And we have to protect them from just off brands in general. But we need them to protect us. We need them to defend us. We need them for sometimes just their masculine vibe of getting shit done. I myself cannot ever say that I don't need a man. I do, especially when I can't get things done for myself. The energy of my king seems to produce the outcome that I need. So any woman that ever says she don't need a man, she don't need a black man, she should slap herself in the face 3 times on me. Because you're a goddamn liar, and you should. You should need them, and you should make them very part of your everyday nature. Because that's what they need to be. There was a point where we shoved them off because of something that they seem to have been robbed of, and that later on we are missing in them. But it's okay. We could put it back in them if we have faith. And I, for one, believe that I need them. I need them. I need them to lead me. I need them to teach me. And a woman should be able to say that without any shame or embarrassment, to say that she needs her king to lead her in the direction of higher learning, education, and the right way to live. They are the man, they are the head. We are underneath them, but we also are there to protect them. Behind every great man is a woman. Behind every great king is a queen. And so knowing that we uplift them, should uplift ourselves. We should never feel like we cannot provide for them as they provide for us. We should never hold them and feel like they need to be shamed. Anybody who's shaming them in public, again, slap yourself on me 3 times. Okay? Because you're fucking wrong. Shouldn't shame them, because all you're doing is demasculating them for the next one. If you can't treat them right, let them go to somebody who can. Okay? Same thing with men. You don't need to shame the black woman any more than she's already been. If you can't respect her, you can't treat her well, then fucking let her go to someone who can. Let her go to someone who can. Not, it's probably not going to be no white man, so just let that go. But let her go to somebody who can treat her well. If you can't respect her, you can't talk to her appropriately, let her go to someone who will. You don't keep your motherfucking hands off of her. You know what I mean? She's been through enough. Been through enough. So my thing is that we're supposed to follow the code. The code is to uplift our brothers and sisters, love each other, help each other. If we can't do that, then we're a bad representation for any organization or any group. If we can't do that within our own households, if we can't do that in public, this black dysfunction needs to end. You know, I in the last 2 years have yet to see less. I've seen. Let me put it this way: I've seen 3 black power couples in 2 years, and all I've seen is dysfunction and ugliness. I've seen bitterness. I've seen animosity. I've seen hatred. I've seen the lack of love. I've seen that beautiful thing that I just can't fathom. I can't fathom that the world exists like this. You know what I mean? Because it shouldn't just be on TV. And even they don't bring those shows back anymore. You know what I mean? The last time I saw a really legitimate black couple happy was on the bus, maybe like a month ago. And it brought tears to my eyes. And I had to tell the lady, I mean, they were on the bus and the brother had fell asleep. And the bus made a real quick turn. And she grabbed him so he didn't slide off the seat. Right? He was asleep. And she was holding on to her baby and she grabbed her dude. And that made me sad. It made me happy and sad at the same time. Because you don't see that anymore. Happy because somebody did that. And they were a beautiful couple, okay? With a small child. And I had to tell her, I was like, whatever you're doing, don't let this go. Don't let whatever this vibe you got going on with you and your husband and your child, don't let nobody take that from you. Don't let nobody get in that. Because that's so fucking beautiful. It's so fucking innocent. And that's what the world needs. It's so natural. And we don't see that now. All we see is forced fucking dysfunction. And it's always on us. It's always on us. You don't see white people fucking arguing online. You don't see it. They have some sense of fucking, I don't know, secrecy or hiding it. But you see us because we're so fucking emotional. And we're so sensitive and we're so fucking damaged that you see our dysfunction clear as day. You can see it on our face. You can see it in our attitude. You can see it within our programs that we run them together or whatever. You can see them sometimes and you can see the dysfunction is so ugly and you can't do nothing about it. They have to grow out of it. And it's really sad because it's the way we're programmed, and now some of us can't even get out of it. And so when we have beautiful things that should just be a functioning act, all we see is dysfunction. And we need more examples of positivity. So my answer to that is the ladies, please, we gotta protect them. Like I was telling my king, I said, man, I made a whole live about it. You gotta protect them. Because, it's a heavy job for a revolutionary man that's doing big fucking things. And we're not supposed to fucking understand, especially if we're doing big shit ourselves. You know, but we have to treat them better than the world treats them. We got to protect them better than the world is protecting them. And we have to stand up for them and defend them no matter what, no matter if they're right, wrong, or fucking indifferent. We don't let nobody take that from them. And then the same thing with you. As men, you don't let nobody disrespect us no matter what. You know what I mean? Protect us, defend us, because that's what it was lacking somewhere. Somewhere that got taken from y'all. Y'all didn't want to do it for us no more. And then we lost faith. But it's coming back. You'll see. It'll come back. It just has to take that. What is it? God says a mustard seed of hope. Or some shit, a mustard seed of faith. I know it could come back. So I'm actually telling the sisters to stop being so dysfunctional. Two. Do you know what I mean? 2. Not just the brothers. It takes 2 to have dysfunction. You know what I mean? So, in closing, thank you everybody who watched the RVA. It's a brand new program. It's coming out Frontline Black News. And thank you, Brother Yenga, as usual. We're encouraged by your words, you know what I mean? Because they are serious and heavy. Anybody else? Anything else, anybody? Because I'm about to close out with the master. Yeah, are you good? You guys, anything else you want to say? Jay? Yenga? Nothing?
Thank you for having me on. This is a great show.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna close out with what are we closing out with?
The master.
The master, right? Yeah.
Right.
This is brother. This is RAHMEL Understanding.
All right. Peace.
Peace. Thank you.
The universe is everlasting life. To master the universe is to master one's own life. The master is the seasoned veteran and the expert. The master is the authority of a specific discipline or a field of study. At one time, I was a pupil, but now I have learned to become the master. At one time, I was a follower, but now I have become a leader. Once upon a time, I was naive and subjective to the ways of the world, but today I am objective and realistic about how things really are. Today I am awake and aware. Today I stand on my own and I stand on the square. The square is the structure and the discipline of a knowledgeable individual. I have become disciplined enough to let go and let things be. I have truly learned how to live in the now. Today I have learned to appreciate the signs of the now. The now is the only reality I know, and the now is the only reality I embrace. Out of all my teachers, trial and error have definitely given me the best education. Deciphering the chaos in the world just to live and see another day is not an easy task.
Okay.
In a destructive world,
Pretty
the
good,
methods of decision making seem to be limited. Shall one use a piece of steel, the sword, or shall one use a piece of mine? They say if life hands you lemons, then make lemonade. Well, if life hands you a rock, is it okay to use that rock as a weapon to defend yourself against the enemies of righteousness? The principles of justice cannot be conceived by the mindless. Justice is not a game, but on the contrary, justice is the name of the game. Once justice is properly executed, the game is over. Justice can be just and kind, but justice is also known to be ice cold and merciless. Those who fall victim to the forces of law and order will receive 100% wrath without pity or sympathy. They are mere mortals. They are ignorant people, while the enlightened are supreme beings. The being is the personification of an identity. The being is the embodiment of life and the incarnation of an idea. A low life will never equate to a higher power or a heavenly being. Low lives are the demons of reality, doing the will of the devil consciously or unconsciously. The low life is the weak and wicked being who only exists for the purpose of spreading death mentally and physically. We must study the signs of earth, wind, and fire. Earth, wind, and fire are the primal elements of life. The earth is Mother Nature and is personified by the woman. The element of earth is the terrestrial plane, the natural plane of thought, and the common ground that bonds all humanity as one. The element of earth keeps one grounded using the forces of gravity. We cannot survive living in limbo, just floating without the gravitational pull of the earth keeping us centered. We must keep our feet planted on solid ground. We must keep our feet planted on land. We must be level-headed and down to earth in order to succeed in landing opportunities in life. The earth is the land, and our duty is to possess the fat of the land. We must travel the land and coexist peacefully with other signs. The element of wind is the spiritual side of existence. Words are a form of wind. Words are spirits. The element of fire is the power of the truth. The element of fire is the passion of an individual who strives for perfection. Peace.
That's brother RAHMEL right there. going super hard.